Right then, are you taking the bus, Lilly? Lilly motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. It'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. Ah, I see. Lilly reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes her some difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awful kind of you, Hisao. She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, then it will take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi has yet to arrive. Well, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning, I say. The nurse told me that I should be doing that. I think he probably had other things in mind, Hisao, and probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? I guess not, I reply. Looks like we've got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again? I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. There's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. So how long is the flight to Scotland? About 16 hours, if I remember correctly, she says. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing time zones. So long, Hanako says. It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet, even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she's probably traveled very little, let alone flown. It's not too bad, Lilly says. I'll spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use that here, so I need to re-familiarize myself with it a little. Well, will your accent be a problem? Hanako asks. I wouldn't worry about that too much. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all move to sit down on the small bench beside the school gate in silence. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lilly is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lilly is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lilly might not be able to see it, but Hanako's chewing her fingernails nervously. I move to talk to her, but I can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. Ah, I think the taxi's on its way. Well spotted, Hisao. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lilly must mean I've become more aware of my surroundings. Anyway, we won't have to call the taxi company, nor worry about missing Lilly's plane. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down a window and leans over. After confirming that, yes, Lilly is the same Lilly Sato who booked the trip, we sort out her luggage. The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lilly's suitcase, with Lilly climbing into the back seat as he loads it into the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into his seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells. Have a safe trip, Lilly. Take care of yourself, I say. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will, Lilly answers. I'll be back before long, don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too, won't there, Hisao? Yeah, of course, I answer. I turn and smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only manages to keep eye contact with me for a couple of seconds, her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. "See you, Lily." "Goodbye." Lily gives her farewells to the both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more, and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. The two of us stand at the gates for a long time, even after they've disappeared from sight, not really knowing what to do. Finally, I ask, "So, what do you want to do?" "I don't know." The bus stop, standing by the school gates like a mute sentinel, puts a strange idea into my mind. "Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? We have the rest of the day free." It's a long shot, as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out there even when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's likely to just refuse and go back to, "Okay." "Really?" I say. "Really. Let's go." I can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not about to ask her to change her mind. Stepping off the bus, I immediately notice that a lot of people are around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course, lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. "So, where shall we go?" I ask. A bookshop?" Hanako's present and my other general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. They're something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I look to my side and notice her nodding almost imperceptibly. "Oh, okay. Do you know of one?" "Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents." Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday. "You both spent a lot of time?" Or maybe I misjudged the situation. "We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all," I tell her. Hanako smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure when she does. "Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. Do you want to check it out?" "Sure." The crowd starts to build as we head toward the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. As we walk, the sound of the traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. "I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're going to learn to drive?" Driving? "Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a lot of students in Yamaku who are allowed to drive." It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really high-strung right now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, since she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed during our search. "What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays?" I ask. "Bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet," Hanako answers. "Maybe they just had to close over weekends." She seems pretty knowledgeable about technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lend itself well to someone who enjoys solitude. Huh. I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? If it's not a bother, could you show me where you bought my present? Sure, not a problem, I say. It's not far from here. I head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its exact location. I don't want a repeat of the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, I say, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Well, yes, it took Lilly and me some time to find it. Can we go in? I don't see why not. It's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time. No, I answer. We're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look in here. The store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you bought gifts for? He asks. That's right, I say. They were presents for her. The store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in the headlights. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. I want to be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then a awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before, but I think the feeling she's giving off now is worse. It's not anger, nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady, to have friends that care about you as much as they do, the shopkeeper finally says. Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't even have realized that she said anything. Then again, the store owner's mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako strikes out into the store, gazing at wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lilly said she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store owner's sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop, she says. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money, she says. Well, we can always come again, I say. Now that I know where to find it, that is. We can, she says. Of course. We can come here as often as you'd like, I say. Thank you. You don't need to thank me, I tell her. I almost forgot where this place was. I don't really think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to the school now, she asks. Sure thing, let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store owner peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what that glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see it is both a relief and a bit frustrating. Hanako and I stopped walking once we reached the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye, she says. Do you want to have some tea or something? I ask. How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I I'm tired. Maybe later? I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously wants to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of homework to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons. Ah, homework, I say. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See you, Hisao. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappears through for a bit before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. So we get to see Lilly off on her trip, and then Hisao and Hanako go on a very surprising day date, essentially, into the city. Uh, Very important decision here. The do you want to go into the city, or how about we call it a day? We chose the do you want to go into the city, of course. If you choose the how about we call it a day and basically give Hanako the impression that, well, since Lily's gone, even though most of the day is still here, I'd rather just not do anything with you, you go to the bad ending. This one has a good ending, a neutral ending, and a bad ending. And this one will mess it up for you. If you give her the impression that you're not going to be around uh, unless Lily's around her, then that leads directly to the bad ending. No turnarounds, no U-turns, no ways to regret it. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So definitely want to go into town with her. And then we took her to the store, the antique shop where we picked up her gift, and had quite the pleasant day. And even with her wanting to spend more time with us at the end of the day, just not being able to because of homework. We also got a interesting clue there while we were out, where she was asking if Lily and I had spent most of the day, if we had spent a long time walking around. And it comes to it as Hisao says, maybe there's something else going on here. Begins to dawn on her that dawn on him that maybe Lily has a little, maybe his Hanako has a little touch of jealousy going on there. So, all right, we will see in the next episode where we go now that it's just Hanako and Hisao, and Lily isn't around to kind of supervise there.